Hello, class. May the force be with you.
And also with you.
Hey, good job. How's everyone doing today?
Good. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I am well. It's good to see everyone.
My name is Dude Awesome. Oh, I'm mute. Oh.
It's all good. Yeah, I do think that for a class this size, it's probably wise to for y'all to keep yourselves muted until you want to speak. Of course, the chat's always an option, but yeah, it's all good. It's good to see everyone. How's everyone doing? Anyone having a burning desire to speak or say anything at the moment? I can see all of you. Yeah, good to see everyone. Let's see here. Okay. Y'all, I think what I want to do today is see if we can get through the syllabus and the reading schedule. Did we talk about the reading schedule last class?
Yes.
Did we go over it at all?
Just a little bit.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're going to go over it a little bit more. In fact, before I forget, I have some good news for you. I'm going to delete something from the reading schedule because I've been thinking about it. And I'm actually going to not make you read something. Give me one sec here.
I got a question. Did you have class on Monday?
Yes.
Okay, because I was looking for a link and I couldn't find anything, so I was sitting here waiting for something. I think I emailed you and didn't get anything back. So
Really? You emailed me and I didn't respond?
I don't think so.
What is your name?
Michael Butler.
Hey, Michael, it's good to meet you. Sorry about that. Did anyone else have that problem? Michael, we had a great class on Monday. Did anyone else have that problem? Huh, I don't know what to say. I'm really sorry.
I went through the campus and I found the reading schedule and found the stuff that you wanted us to read for Monday. I read that yesterday.
Awesome. Good job, Michael. Hey, Michael, and y'all, actually, this is a good time for me to say something to the entire class. And if I can find the chat, the comments, the chat feature, which surely I can. Wow. Sort of oh yeah, there we, sort of embarrassing. Why can I not find the chat? Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. Y'all, guess what? I'm recording all of these classes. These classes are conducted on Canvas, and we're going to do this for at least today and next week. And I don't know about the week after that. The week after that, as of right now, we are entitled to meet in person on campus. But honestly, I don't know if that's going to happen or not. You know what I mean? So what I want to say to you is that I record all these classes on Canvas and then I upload them to my YouTube channel. So Michael, you can watch Monday's class and I encourage you to do so on my YouTube channel. Let me put a link to that in the chat right now, but also, you know, you can search for it and also I will try to put it in Canvas. Okay. But let me put a link to it right now in the chat because you're going to be able to watch all of these classes on YouTube in case you miss class. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you.
Y'all. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Okay. There you go. That is my YouTube channel and that's the actual link to yesterday's class. Okay, Michael? But sorry for that confusion. And yeah, can you guys see the reading schedule on your screen?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Awesome. Okay, did it just get bigger?
No, sir.
We just see the syllabus. We don't see the reading schedule itself.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing because the reading schedule I have is like a chart. That's the syllabus.
Right. Now, can you see the reading schedule?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
let's talk about this real quick because I don't want to forget the thing that I'm about to say. So Michael Butler already said that Michael, I think that you said that you've already read the Parmenides and Heraclitus / Cratylus handouts. Is that right?
Yeah, the Parmenides that you had on Canvas, I couldn't really read, so I went and looked up another one and actually printed that out and read that.
Oh, wow. Are you saying that there was a problem with one of the handouts that I put on Canvas?
Yeah, on the Parmenides, it looks like you scanned it from a book, so it had some of the words towards the bind that was cut off.
Oh, man. Okay. I will take a look at that and make sure that it's okay. Yeah, but so y'all can see this, right? Theoretically, this week we are talking about Parmenides and then Heraclitus / Cratylus. Those are two pre-Socratic philosophers. But here's what I want to say to y'all today. Who can tell me what we're supposed to discuss next week? Yeah, go ahead.
Next week, we're supposed to go over Copleston and Plato.
Thank you, Adam. Very good. Guess what, class? I'm going to delete that reading. So we're going to just skip that. You don't need to read Copleston. Please forget about Copleston. I don't think that I uploaded it, and that's because I've been debating about it. I will try to update the reading schedule and repost that on Canvas, but honestly, I don't really think I need to do that. The point is, you're not going to be responsible for Copleston, okay? Next week, we will continue to talk about Parmenides and Heraclitus. In fact, we might even start on that today, depending on if we can get through the syllabus, okay? But yeah, let's before we jump back to the syllabus, let's talk a little bit about the reading schedule, because I think we didn't talk about it a whole lot last time. You can see that after we get through Parmenides and Heraclitus, we're going to be looking at two different Platonic dialogues. Okay. Now, did y'all hear what I just said? Platonic what? What did I just say?
Dialogues.
Platonic dialogues.
Yeah, dialogues. That word dialogue is a super important word. Guess why? Because Aristotle did not write in dialogues, neither does Nietzsche, neither does Descartes, but Plato does. Now, let me just ask you guys, what do you think of when you hear that word dialogue?
Conversation.
Yeah, guess what? That's exactly what Plato's works are. They're conversations between two dialogue partners. I'm going to give you a super fancy way to say dialogue partner. I'm going to try to put it in the chat. It is the word interlocutor. Interlocutor. Let me hear you say interlocutor.
Interlocutor.
Good. You know what an interlocutor is? It's a dialogue partner. It's one person who's involved in a conversation with someone else. And what's interesting about Plato is that he wrote dialogues. And I love what someone said a minute ago. But the other thing that the word dialogue suggests is a dramatic context. A dramatic context. In other words, do y'all think that Plato is writing fiction or nonfiction? What would you say? If you had to guess, do you think Plato's writing fiction or nonfiction?
Fiction.
Yeah. Now, who said that?
Me, Nick Taylor.
Nick. Excellent. Why did you say fiction just then?
I mean, just through the context of dramatic, and it's a lot easier to, I guess, format a lot of ideals through the context of fiction.
That's exactly right. Plato wrote dialogues. They're dramatic works of art. And in those dialogues, you have characters. Now, let me ask you all a question. So Plato's dialogues have characters. Who can anyone name one of the characters in any of Plato's dialogues? Does anyone know off the top of your head?
Sophists,
Ah, that's a great guess. Who said that?
Adam Martinez.
Adam, that is a super great guess. But check out what I'm putting in the chat. One of the characters in Plato's dialogues is always who?
Socrates.
Socrates. Y'all, let me hear you say Socrates.
Socrates.
Now, I'm going to tell you something right now that I need you to write down if you're taking notes, because this could be on a quiz or a test later. Can anyone tell me who Plato's teacher was? Does anyone know?
Is it Aristotle or no?
Ah, it's a great guess. We're going to come to that in a moment. Was that you, Daniel?
Yes, sir.
Nice try. Aristotle's teacher is, who else wants to guess?
The Parmenides.
That's right. Well, whoever said Parmenides, good job, but it's Socrates. So Socrates taught Plato. Are you with me? So who can tell me who Plato's teacher was?
Socrates.
Yeah. Now, Brooke, let me ask you this. Who was Socrates' student?
Plato.
That's
Plato.
right. Super easy, right? Now, next question. So we know who Plato's teacher was. Who was Plato's student?
Aristotle.
Aristotle.
Right, Aristotle. So the sequence is first you have Socrates, then you have Plato, then you have who?
Aristotle.
Right. So who was Aristotle's student? We don't know, do we? Who was Aristotle's teacher?
Plato.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So y'all, what you already know is that in every single one of Plato's dialogues, one of the students is his what?
Teacher.
Yeah, his teacher or his mentor, or maybe you could even say his hero, because Plato loves Socrates, because in these dialogues are fictional works, right? Would y'all agree with me that in fictional works, let's just call them stories or narratives, okay? Would y'all agree with me that in many or most stories, there's a good guy and a bad guy, or a good girl and a bad girl? There's good guys and bad guys in lots of stories, right?
Yeah.
So let me just ask you, can someone tell me their favorite movie? Who can give me, I need someone to tell me what their favorite movie is. Someone who hasn't spoken yet.
Frozen.
Who said that?
Me. Tara.
Hera? Awesome.
Yes, sir.
What is your favorite movie again?
Frozen.
Ooh, nice. Now who's the bad guy in Frozen?
It depends on which one.
Well, how about the main bad guy in your opinion?
I guess if you're going off the second one, it would have been the father because he built the dam to.
Excellent. Now, Tara,
Yeah.
is there an H in your name?
No,
So is it Tera?
no, it's Tara.
Ah, awesome. Okay, what's your last name?
Martin.
Okay, very cool. It's nice to meet you online. Nice to meet you in this class. Who else can tell me what their favorite movie is? Someone who hasn't spoken yet.
Joker.
Back to the Future.
Back to the Future. Come on, I'm not that old. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, who said Back to the Future?
Jason Barrios.
Jason, how you doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm good. So your favorite movie is Back to the Future. Who's the main good guy?
Marty McFly.
Yes, Marty McFly. Good old Marty McFly. Okay, so in most movies, there's good guys and bad guys, right? Well, guess what? That's true in Plato's dialogues as well. And guess who the good guy always is?
Socrates.
That's right, Socrates. Socrates, the good guy. The bad guys also have important truth that we can learn from. Otherwise, they wouldn't even be in Plato's story, right? But we're going to read two dialogues together. And by the way, who can tell me what the name of the first dialogue is? what's the first dialogue that we're going to read?
Is
Is it Euthyphro?
The Euthyphro. Very good. Now, who can answer this? Is the Euthyphro a primary text or a secondary text?
primary?
That's right. Why, Sergio?
Because well, Plato wrote it and it's like original from him.
That's right. And it's a classic. It's withstood the test of time. Do people write commentaries on the Euthyphro? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes, they
Yes.
do. Have people been reading the Euthyphro for thousands and thousands and thousands of years? Yes, they have. Do you think that people will be reading the Euthyphro in 500 years, assuming that the human race still exists?
Yes.
I think so.
Yes.
So the Euthyphro is a primary text. So is the Apology. By the way, you will probably get a quiz or an exam question about this distinction between primary text and secondary text. That's something that you'll need to write down, okay? Good. So we're going to read 2 dialogues of Plato. The Euthyphro and the Apology. The Euthyphro is kind of like the most basic of all of Plato's dialogues. That's one of the reasons why I have my students read it. And yeah, it's good. And then we're going to read the Apology, which is one of his most important dialogues. These are both early dialogues of Plato. And in the Apology, we actually read about the death of whom? Sorry, not the death, the the trial of whom?
Socrates.
Socrates, that's right. Socrates is put on trial, and is he innocent or guilty? I don't know. You'll have to read to find out, okay? But those are the 2 primary texts we're going to read. By the way, I just realized I can share my desktop. Can y'all now see my desktop?
No, sir.
No,
So-
I still see the reading schedule.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I think I'll go back to the reading schedule. Oh, wait a minute. I'm going to see if I can share my desktop. Can y'all now see my desktop?
It's showing the
Can we see this?
Yeah,
double
you have to minimize all the windows that are in the way.
Right, in order for you to see my reading schedule, the reading schedule. But this is kind of cool. I think I want you to see my desktop. Okay, awesome. So after we talk about these 2 primary texts, then we're going to have a little catch-up week, because inevitably we're going to fall behind in my class, because I really love this material and it's super interesting and I love to talk and I love to listen to you guys talk. And so I built in a catch-up week for February 15. And during that catch-up week, we're also going to have a writing workshop in which we're going to talk about the mid-semester paper. And I'm going to sort of give you some thoughts about that, hopefully thoughts that you will find helpful in writing that paper, okay? After that, we're going to look at Aristotle. Now, are we going to read any primary texts of Aristotle? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
No, we're not, but I still like you guys. We're going to read this book, right? Who's the author of this book?
Jonathan Barnes.
Jonathan Barnes. So wait, the author of this book is Aristotle, right?
No.
No.
No, it's Jonathan Barnes. What does that mean? It means that this is a book that Jonathan Barnes wrote about
So
who?
it's a secondary source.
Aristotle.
The secondary source. That's exactly right. You remember those other 2 books that I held up last time? The Metaphysics and the Physics? Are those primary texts or secondary texts?
Primary.
Primary.
Boom, you got it. So after the writing workshop, we're going to read the secondary source by Barnes, selected chapters. Then it's going to be spring break. And then we're going to dive into modern philosophy. Now, is Aristotle modern philosophy?
No.
No. What? No, he's not. Aristotle is ancient philosophy. Who can name one other philosopher who's also an ancient philosopher?
Plato.
Yeah, who said that?
Gabrielle. Ward.
Nice, Gabrielle. You got it. Plato and Aristotle are both ancient philosophers. That's right. But after spring break, we're going to dive into Rene Descartes, who is a modern philosopher. That's going to be crazy and interesting all at the same time. And then we're going to read one of my favorite philosophers, a guy named Friedrich Nietzsche. Friedrich Nietzsche. Before we read the Dionysiac worldview, however, which is an essay that he wrote, it's about maybe 8 pages, something like that. It's not super long. Before we read that together and discuss it, I'm going to make you watch a documentary on Nietzsche. We will probably watch that together, especially if we're meeting in person at that time, which I hope we are. And I hope that because I hope that you will all take your vaccines and that I will get my vaccine, which I haven't done yet, and that the pandemic will be largely behind us. But hopefully we're meeting face-to-face by that time, post-pandemic, and we'll watch the Nietzsche documentary together. And then we are going to read the text by Nietzsche and discuss it. And y'all, that's it. The last day of class is April 21. I don't know when the final exam is because the university does not release those dates until later. But I do know when the paper is due, and we will get to that in a moment, okay? Y'all doing okay? Does anyone have any questions or comments at the moment? Y'all can see the syllabus now, right?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. How can I make, oh, yay, okay, good. All right, we talked about the required readings. You'll notice that only the first 3 books are you required to purchase or to obtain somehow. The ones, Friedrich Nietzsche and all of these are PDFs that I put on Canvas, okay? Course description. This is where we were last time. I think that I'm going to skip over that now, except to say that we were going to talk about the difference between physics and metaphysics. Who can remind me what the root word of metaphysics is?
Meta. Physics.
It's physics, right? Meta is a what?
Prefix.
It's like beyond or after.
It's a prefix, right? Now, the root word is physics. And who can remind me what the word physics means in Greek?
Study of movement. Or
The study of nature.
All right, now who said that?
I did.
Tell me
Karen.
your name, please.
Karen Lopez.
Hi, Karen. I'm so glad to hear you talk today. Super awesome. Karen, will you wave at me real quick?
Yeah,
Oh, I don't see you. Dang
I'm
it.
right here.
I believe you. Hey, hope to meet you. Oh, wait, there's the little arrow. Where's Karen?
I'm right here.
Oh, okay, there you are. Hi, Karen. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So you said the study of nature, right?
Yes.
So check it out. Have you ever heard of a word that ends with LOGY, like biology, psychology, anthropology?
Yes.
That suffix logy, L-O-G-Y, does mean the study of something, right?
Yes, sir.
But does the word physics have logy in it?
No.
No. So physics is not the study of anything. Physics is something. It's something that maybe some people study. Who can tell me what the word fuchsius in Greek or in English physics? Who can tell me what that word means? And by the way, I just wrote it in Greek again. We talked about that. I put that in the chat last time. What does the word physics, fuchsius, mean in Greek? Who can tell me? Come on, someone knows.
Material things or nature.
Who said that?
Jacob Levels.
Jacob, thank you very much. So let's go with nature, okay? Let's go with nature. And the reason I say nature is that this Greek word fuchsius gets translated into Latin as natura. natura. So I like what you said about materiality, matter, and you are correct that physics or nature does include or maybe involve material things. That is true. But I asked you about the meaning of a term, and the meaning of the term is nature. Okay, so good job. So yeah. So metaphysics. What's the root word of metaphysics?
Physics.
Good. So we already said that metaphysics obviously has something to do with physics, which means that it has something to do with what?
Nature.
Nature. So the only real question is the meta. What does meta mean? And y'all already answered it. It means beyond or after. Now check this out. Hang on. Y'all remember these two books? What's this one?
Physics.
That's right. Who wrote it?
Aristotle.
That's right. Now, what is this book?
Metaphysics.
Who wrote the Metaphysics?
Aristotle.
That's right. He wrote both. And y'all, metaphysics obviously has something to do with physics. Can someone take a wild guess as to what the relationship might be?
You study metaphysics after you study physics.
Now, who said that?
Michael Bonner.
Good job, Michael. You are correct, sir. And what you just said is one of the many different ways of articulating the relationship between physics and metaphysics for Aristotle. Aristotle would say that if you want to study metaphysics, that's super awesome. But before you study metaphysics, there's a prerequisite, physics. And we're going to talk about that later in the class when we get to Aristotle. But for now, I want to tell you one other thing that involves these two books, okay? Now, can y'all see what is behind me?
Bookshelf.
A bookshelf, that's right. Well, guess what? Whenever some ancient philosophers were building a new bookshelf, they actually took these two works, the physics and the metaphysics, and they put them on the bookshelf and they put them like this. Which book is first and which book is second on the bookshelf?
Physics would be first and metaphysics is behind.
That's exactly right. Physics is first, metaphysics is after. Y'all, that's literally how this work got its title. This work originally got its title literally because of its position on a bookshelf. Does that make sense? Now, let me tell you why that's so interesting. And then I want to say one more thing about this, and then we'll move on. But the reason why it's interesting that this book got the title Metaphysics is because guess what this book is about? Now, it's about a lot of things, but one of the things that this book is about is God. God. And I'm going to write the Greek word God for you in the chat. Who can read that word to me?
Theos.
Yeah, theos or theos. That's exactly right. Aristotle mentions God 3 times in this book. And in a very real way, this book is about God. Aristotle's word for God is theos. And Aristotle has lots of different names for God. And we're going to get to that later in the class. But for now, I just want to say one more thing about this notion of physics versus metaphysics, okay? I've just told you that this book is about God to a large extent. It's about some other things, but it's largely about God, okay? Now, let me ask you a question. Is God, well, would you agree with me that God is beyond nature?
Yeah.
Yes.
Does that sort of make sense intuitively?
Yeah.
And by the way, even if you're an atheist, which is totally fine with me, even if you're an atheist, you could still answer that question based on what most people have thought about God throughout history, right? So maybe you're someone who says, well, I don't really believe in God. That's okay. What have most people thought about God over the history of Western civilization? And the answer is most people have thought that God is beyond nature. Does that make sense? And that's another way to make sense of this title, is it not? Because not only does this book come after this one on the bookshelf, which is literally how it got its name, but what's also true is that its subject matter, aka God, can be thought of as beyond nature. And I'm going to write something else in the chat real quick. Another way to say beyond nature is this word, this big word, which I sometimes misspell. Who can read that word for me?
Transcendent.
Transcendent. You know what transcendent means? It means beyond. It means outside of. It means over something, in the same way that the clouds are over the earth. Or maybe in the same way that the ozone is over the earth, okay? Transcendent means above, beyond, outside, okay? Does that make sense? So y'all, I'm planting some seeds in your mind about Aristotle. I think Aristotle is probably the most brilliant human being who's ever lived. I mean, it's astonishing how, like, what he wrote. It's really quite amazing. And I'm just planting some seeds for you on that, okay? So that's a little bit about the course description, which involves the word metaphysics. Now, interestingly, it doesn't involve the word physics. And you know why that is? Can I tell you real quick why? Why would the state of Texas assume that a philosophy class is not going to talk about nature? I mean, do y'all think that a philosophy class should talk about nature?
Yes.
Oh, you do. Interesting. A lot of people would say, oh, no, that's the job of a different department at the university. What department might that be?
Biology.
That's right, biology. See, that right there shows that the way we think about philosophy is radically different from the way that Aristotle thought about philosophy. Aristotle thought that it is the job of a philosopher to talk about nature. We typically don't think that. We tend to think that the people whose job it is to talk about nature are the scientists, but guess what? Guess how Aristotle would say scientist. I'm going to put it in the chat. For Aristotle, a scientist, for example, a biologist. Is that a word, biologist?
Yes.
Is a natural philosopher. A natural philosopher. You see that? Aristotle believes in this thing called natural philosophy. So do we. It's just that we call it science. We call it modern science. Okay. But anyway, that's a little bit about the word metaphysics. I'm going to skip this next paragraph in the syllabus. And I'm going to keep going. Let me read these course outcomes. We're going to skip a lot of the syllabus today just because it's horribly boring. Sorry. But I will just read these course outcomes real quick. Upon completion of this course, students will be able to articulate a basic understanding of specific questions of philosophy and their importance, recognize strong and weak arguments, identify philosophical themes in contemporary and popular culture. I really like that one, by the way. Identify, historically situate, and critique several assumptions which seem natural to you. Y'all, I want to pause on that one real quick. One of the main goals that I have in this class is to get you guys to question your assumptions. I talked about this last time, right? Didn't I talk about this last time?
Yes, sir.
I think I did. But in order for you to question your assumptions, first you need to be able to what?
Know your assumptions.
Yes, identify them. That's exactly right, Brooke. So yeah, one of the things I'm trying to get you to do in this class is to identify your assumptions, to become aware of them. That doesn't mean that you should reject them. I'm not trying to say that all of your assumptions are bullshit. No, I'm not trying to say that. Some of them might be. You'll never know until you learn to identify them, right? That's one of the big jobs of philosophy, is to learn to identify your assumptions. Good. 5. Describe how philosophical thinking is relevant to your everyday life. 6. Explain the significance of the life and death of Socrates. Who can name a dialogue in which we read about the life of Socrates? In which we read about some of the life of Socrates?
Apology.
The Apology, that's right. Who said that?
Sergio or Sergio. Yeah.
Sergio, thank you. Yeah, the Apology is the story of the what of Socrates?
The trial.
The trial, that's exactly right. Good. Number 7, say something compelling. No. Yes. Say something profound and compelling about Plato's epistemology and the theory of forms. We're going to get to that soon. Say something profound and compelling about Aristotle's theory of the good life. You know what? We're probably not going to get to that one because that's ethics. Oh, well. Number 9, identify, question, and evaluate specific assumptions that they have together. That is Plato and Aristotle. Okay, y'all, let's talk about grades real quick. This is super self-explanatory. Y'all can see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this is what an A is. This is what a B is. That's super obvious and self-explanatory. This is a little more important. This class, there are 300 points in this class. 1/3 of those points is the paper. 1/3 is the final exam, and 1/3 is what I call participation, okay? But here's one thing that you need to keep in mind. There's 2 parts of participation in this class. Does anyone know what they are? Let me ask it a different way. What about quizzes? I heard a rumor that Father Matt has quizzes in his class. Yes, I do, but I don't see quizzes in that list of points. Guess where the quizzes come in?
I think they're pop-up quizzes.
They are, but how much are they worth? Here's what I'm trying to get at, and thanks for that. Is your name Anthony?
D'Anthony, yes.
D'Anthony, how you doing today?
Doing good.
Awesome.
Thank you for asking.
Yeah, man. What's your last name, if you don't mind me asking?
Miller, Miller.
Cool. Y'all, the quizzes are packed into the class participation grade. The class participation grade, let's see what that footnote says. Footnote 2. Yeah. The participation grade is roughly 50% quizzes. It's not quite 50%. I think it might be 46%. I don't quite remember, but it's basically half the quizzes and half what?
Participation and how we talk.
Yeah, and participation basically means attendance and talking in class, okay? Somewhere in this syllabus, and probably you may have even heard that it's difficult to make an A in my class if you never talk. It's not that difficult if you do talk, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, that's the participation grade. It's 100 points. Basically, half of that is the quizzes. You'll have 3 pop quizzes, and then half of it is participation. Y'all, I do not take attendance every class. I didn't take attendance last class. I'm not taking attendance today. I will take attendance probably 10 times over the course of the semester. Honestly, I haven't thought how I'm going to do that on Zoom yet. It may be that I won't take attendance until week 3 of the class. I'm not sure yet, but I could take attendance any class that I want, right? And I'm going to do that about 10 times, and that will factor in to the class participation grade, okay? Y'all, we're going to punt on, well, if you look with me at Roman numeral 4. Roman numeral 4, assessment. I'm going to skip this part about the mid-semester paper. I would like for y'all to read that on your own time. The reason we're going to skip it is because, as I've already said, and this is talked about in the reading schedule, I'm going to dedicate a whole week to talking about the paper, but go ahead and read that on your own time, okay? Here's some rubrics for the papers. Please look at that. Let's talk about the final exam. Oh, this is incorrect. I need to change this. Y'all, I'm going to change this. This was a change that I made this semester because it's online. The final exam is going to be 10 multiple choice questions. I forgot to change that. I'm very sorry. But let me just say it right now. The final exam is going to be 10 multiple choice questions. And each question will be worth 10 points, okay? And y'all, also, I'm going to tell you something kind of crazy that's going to make your weekend really awesome. I'm actually going to tell you what the questions are. I do that every semester. I'm going to tell you what the questions are. I know that that's kind of weird. I don't really care. Like, philosophy is very hard, and I want you guys to focus on the material and asking questions and really thinking for yourselves more than worrying about the grade. Not all of you will make A's. Not all of you will make B's. But if you show up and do the work, you'll make at least a B. And if you try, you'll make an A. I mean, it's really not hard to make an A in my class. But I'm going to tell you exactly what the questions are. Now, I'm not going to tell you what the answers are. You have to figure out what the answers are, but I'm going to tell you what the questions are, okay? Y'all, I'm going to skip this part about class participation because I've already talked about it, but please read that on your own. Here's some rubrics for the non-quiz component of class participation. The bottom line is that the more you talk, the more you use the chat feature, the better your grade's going to be, okay? Roman numeral 7. By the way, let me just hit the pause button. Does anyone have any questions right now? Cool.
I have one.
Who's talking?
Me, Sergio. So
go ahead.
So it's gonna be just the quizzes and the midterm paper
and the final exam.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But you're gonna,
yeah, quizzes, midterm paper, final exam. Those, other than that, it's just participation. You know, like, did you talk in class? I'll tell you this: if I don't know who you are, it's going to be harder to make an A. Now, having said that, I will tell you that the fact that it's online changes everything. Like last semester, basically the whole semester was online. And honestly, I was extremely generous in the class participation grades. But I am assuming that at some point we will meet in person. And that's it. It's even more important at that time to talk in class. Are you with me? Any other questions before we keep going? All right, look with me at unit 7 at Roman numeral 7 here. This is again a little bit about the reading schedule. We're going to go in chronological order, which begins with Plato. But who can tell me what we're going to discuss even before we get to Plato?
Parmenides and Heraclitus.
That's right, Parmenides and Heraclitus. That's exactly right. After that, we'll dive into Plato. Then we're going to do Aristotle, then Descartes, then Nietzsche. Okay. That's the sequence. You can see that reflected in in that second document, that separate document called the reading schedule as well. Y'all look with me at Roman numeral 8, dates. Yeah, the mid-semester paper is going to be due at the beginning of class on Wednesday, March 3. And we don't know when the final exam is yet. Okay. Let me say something real quick before I forget about the mid-semester paper. It has to be submitted on Canvas. Okay. You're not allowed to email me that paper. You're not allowed to drop the paper on my front door of my house. You're not allowed to text me a screenshot. It has to be submitted on Canvas. There's only one exception to that, and this is in the syllabus. You are permitted to, assuming that we're meeting in person, you are permitted to hand me a physical copy at the beginning of that class on Wednesday, March 3rd. Other than that, it needs to be on Canvas, okay? And yeah, and I greatly prefer Word or PDF. Okay, so no Google sharing. What?
Do you use Office Lens?
I use Office. What do you mean by lens?
There's a I used this for my class last semester where you can take it's like it's connected, it can be connected with Canvas.
Okay.
And let me see if I can find it.
You scan your papers and then you can make
Yeah.
it into a PDF and then send it off to your teachers.
Yeah, that totally works because that's just on my end, I just get a PDF, you know what I mean? So Hannah, thanks for asking. Yeah, that sounds like a great approach. I make PDFs all the time. Like there's a way to make PDFs from Word documents. It's super easy. But yeah, that would be a great way to just send me a PDF, okay? But Word is fine. Some people send me text edit documents or text, I don't know, text, y'all know what I'm talking about. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but I'm not going to count off if you do that, okay? But please, no Google Docs. I use Google Docs all the time, but I don't want to have to grade papers like that, okay? All right, back to the syllabus. Here's some other stuff. When I do take attendance, it'll be at the beginning of class. You're allowed 2 unexcused absences. You can be gone twice, no questions asked, no problem at all. After that, there will be a penalty unless you demonstrate a good reason, like I had a doctor's appointment or something like that. Some people are in sports, they do softball, soccer, whatever, that counts as well. Just get that documentation to me, no problem, okay? And by the way, I think that you probably have already realized if you're absent and I don't take attendance that day, no, then you're not penalized, right? It's only when I take attendance. And how many times over the course of the semester will I probably take attendance? 10.
10.
So do the math and you can figure out how that works. Okay. Awesome. Late work, y'all. I want y'all to read all this stuff on your own time. Will you do that? Read all that on your own time. Here's some stuff about COVID, miscellaneous information. Let me read Roman numeral 11. One final note regarding online classes. The university has announced that the first 2 weeks of class at least are required to be online only. I will make every effort to make these classes interesting. I ask you to make every effort to participate as well. I'm not doing YouTube live stream this semester, so you can ignore that next part. My hope is that some point in the semester, in week 3 or maybe in mid-March, who knows, we can gather together in person and hopefully without masks. We'll have to take that one step at a time. Until then, you have my word that I will do the best I can. Please do not hesitate to email me, text me, or call me, okay? Y'all, do you have any questions about the syllabus?
No.
Okay, I'm so glad we're finished talking about that because it is so boring. I really hate talking about the syllabus. Okay, I'm going to make that go away then. And y'all, I think we have 5 minutes left. By the way, who is my timekeeper? Oh, who is my timekeeper? I don't remember. But I do need a timekeeper in this class. I need a timekeeper. Someone next Monday, if you would be willing to remind me whenever we only have, when I need you to remind me at 4:55, because I'm going to do my best to keep our classes at 1 hour. I'm going to try to keep our classes at 1 hour as long as they're on Zoom. And so I need a reminder at 3:55. Okay. So hopefully one of you guys next week, I see a volunteer. Who is that with your hand up?
Michael Bonner.
Michael. Yeah. If you could do that next time, that'd be super awesome. And by the way, I'm going to try to keep my cell phone near me so you could text me that or put it in the chat. If he puts it in the chat and I don't see it, I need someone to tell me. Okay. Y'all, I want to do, we have 5 minutes. And, oh, Ashley, thank you. Ashley, were you my timekeeper?
No, I wasn't.
Oh, what does 10 mean, Ashley?
She posted that.
I was answering one of the questions that you said. I don't remember what it was.
You're awesome. Thank you for doing that. I will try to pay more attention to my text. We'll see how that goes. Okay. Y'all, what I want to do now for 5 minutes is I want to talk about Heraclitus and Parmenides, and we will pick up with this next time. I do need you to have those 2 PDFs read. They're not long. Let's start out with Heraclitus. Now, first off, I want to say this. Heraclitus and Parmenides are both pre-Socratic philosophers, meaning that they were doing their work of philosophizing before whom?
Socrates.
That's right, before Socrates. These are pre-Socratic philosophers. And I only have like 3 minutes. So what I want to do is I want to summarize Heraclitus in 1 sentence and then summarize Parmenides in 1 sentence. And let's start with Heraclitus. Someone fill in the blank. According to Heraclitus, all is blank.
1.
Who said that? Brooke. He did do that. Weirdly, Parmenides also said that all is 1. They meant radically different things by this, but Brooke, that's actually not what I was looking for. There's even a better answer. According to Heraclitus, all is what?
A sphere?
Nope, that's Parmenides.
Oh.
Being or not being. Changing.
Who said changing?
Whitney Walters.
That's right, Whitney. All is changing. What's a fancy way to say changing?
Flowing.
I like flowing. Yeah. Now I don't really believe
flux. The flux.
Flux. Now, this is kind of weird. Who's my man who talked about Back to the Future?
That was me, Jason.
Jason, and by the way, I'm not totally sure I believe you.
That is my favorite movie.
All right, sweet. So, does the word flux pop up in Back to the Future?
Yes, sir.
It does. Where does it pop up?
The capacitor. What is it called?
The flux capacitor. Crazy. Y'all, Heraclitus says all is flux. Everything is changing. I want to say, I want to give you, so I want to do one more thing with Heraclitus, and that is he has a famous sentence which you might also call a maxim. In Spanish, it would be un dicho. What's a dicho? A dicho is like a saying, right? Heraclitus has a maxim. Can someone tell me Heraclitus's maxim? It's almost like his most famous statement.
You can't step into the same river twice.
That's it. Who said that?
Whitney Walters.
Good job, Whitney. That's right. You can't step into the same river twice. Now, Whitney or anyone, why in the world would Heraclitus say that?
Because he believes everything's constantly changing.
That's right.
It kind of makes sense.
Right. So I could go Is there a river in Tyler? I don't think so. Tyler kind of sucks. No, I'm just kidding.
You're
But
not wrong.
nah, thank you.
The Sabine River.
Huh?
There's the Sabine River just north of Tyler.
There you go. Let's take the Sabine River. Let's say we were to all take a field trip and go to the Sabine River. And today's Wednesday, right? We step in the river. If we go back tomorrow, can we step in the river again? Yes or no? According to Heraclitus.
Oh no.
No.
No. Why?
Because it's changed from the last time.
It's changed. That's exactly right. Now, we don't have time to get to Parmenides today. That's fine. We're about to close. But have y'all ever seen those time-lapse videos like on YouTube? Probably some of you take time-lapse videos. Like I want you to imagine one of those time-lapse videos. In fact, I could pull one up, but it's 5 o'clock. Imagine a time-lapse video on YouTube that is a video recording of sandcastles on the beach, right? And let's say that it's a video of sandcastles on the beach. The waves are coming in and going out, coming in and going out. Let's say it's 10 hours long, and the video is compressed into, let's say, 1 minute, right? What do you see in that video? Who can describe the sandcastles to me from that video? Let me ask it like this. If you just glance at the sandcastles in one instant, it looks like they're permanent, right? I mean, boom, there's the sandcastle. But if you're looking at it on the time lapse, do the sandcastles seem permanent?
No.
No. Guess what another word for permanent is? Stable. Stable. If you just look up and look at the sandcastle, it looks stable. But do they look stable if in the time-lapse video?
No.
No. They're constantly changing, aren't they? Like they pop up and then they fall down. And then they gradually get built up and then they gradually fall back down. The sandcastles are constantly changing. That is a great way to think about what Heraclitus is saying, because y'all, if it's true that those sandcastles are constantly changing, and do you think that it's true? I think that it's true. If those sandcastles are constantly changing, then let me ask you a question. What is this?
Sticky note.
Sticky notes. It's a little pad of sticky notes. If the sandcastles are constantly changing, then is the sticky note pad any different? Let me ask it to you like this. Do you think that let me ask you, do you think that this sticky note pad will be around tomorrow?
No.
Yes.
I do too. I mean, I'm going to come into my office tomorrow and I'll bet you that it's still here. But do you think it'll be around in a decade?
No.
Maybe.
Maybe. What about 1,000 years? Do you think the sticky pad will be around in 1,000 years?
Yes.
No.
I'm going to say no. In fact, if you could take a time-lapse video of this sticky pad and the time-lapse video is 1,000 years, and then you speed it up to, how about 1 day? You're going to see this sticky pad dissolve and disintegrate and get crumpled up into lots of different little crumples. And then some of those are going to go to the city dump. Some of them are going to be used to light my fire tonight, right? But this sticky pad's not going to be around in a decade. And it's definitely not going to be around in a century. Does anyone think that this sticky pad is going to be around in the year 2121?
No.
I would be willing to bet $500,000 that it won't be. Okay. In other words, this sticky pad is no different from what?
Sandcastle.
The sandcastle.
And y'all, if it's true of the sandcastles and if it's true of the sticky pad, then it might be true about that magnolia tree I'm looking at right out my window. Do you think that magnolia tree will be here in 1,000,000 years?
No.
No.
I don't either. See, everything's changing all the time. Sometimes it seems like things are permanent. I mean, here's my iPhone. I had it last month. I'll probably have it next month. Will it be around in a million years? No. Will planet Earth be around in a million years? I don't know. Will Mount Everest be around in a million years? I don't know. Will the business building at the University of Tyler be around in a million years? No, it won't be. Everything is changing. And that's why Heraclitus says that you can't step in the same river twice. Okay. And y'all, we're going to pick it up right there last time. And now for our ritual. May the force be with you.
And also with you.
Also with you.
Good job. Peace out, y'all. Have a wonderful weekend. And I'll see you next Monday. Okay.
Wait. Can you resend the YouTube link because I didn't receive it?
Yes. Oops.
Sorry, guys. My bad. Y'all can leave. You know.
Do you see it now?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. And you can always email me if you need it again.
Thank you.
Y'all take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you.
Question for you. No one else has to pay attention to this. Were you at Starbucks yesterday by chance?
I don't remember, but probably because
Okay, because I think that I ran into a Starbucks because I work there.
Oh, did you help me? Did you give me a venti water?
The venti ice water, no ice.
Yes, after my 14-mile run, Sloan, you saved my life. But extra credit, maybe. I don't know.
No, it's okay.
All right.
I was like trying to figure that out.
That's funny.
all.
That was me. Yeah, so embarrassing. Oh well.
It
Y'all
happens.
have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Peace. Bye.